Getting back at my ex-wife many years later. Many years ago, my ex-wife fell for an ex-boyfriend of hers. Easy to do since our relationship was on the outs anyway. She initiated a divorce and I'd assumed we'd be staying in the same state. Imagine my surprise when, after a trip to see said boyfriend, she intended to fight me tooth and nail for custody of our son. She would lie, cheat, and ensure our mutual bankruptcies. I was flabbergasted, blindsided because, well, this lying and cheating was something I'd never seen out of her. I could barely conceive of it. We compromised. I'm not going to get into the compromise itself, but suffice it to say, it left me in a better financial position and required her to send our son to me once a month. My son and I have a great relationship, and I've gone on to get married and have another 3 children with a wonderful woman. One thing I've always done is paid more support than I'm supposed to, and for various reasons. Boy wants to play football. Boy wants to see a specific movie. On top of paying for half of school expenses, health issues, the usual, I earmark additional money to ensure my boy gets to do stuff that my ex-wife couldn't afford otherwise. In addition, as I've gotten raises, I've voluntarily increased my support payment. Since that divorce, my career has taken off. The delta between what she makes and what I make is sizable. I pay up child support. I've never taken my other kids into account to reduce that amount. I can afford it. Largely, I know I can trust my ex-wife to make sure that money is used to care for my boy and not her current boyfriend's kids. Thing is, she's never really understood that I pay far more than I should. I've made offhand comments about it, but I'm guessing it never sunk in, or she thought I was being a spoiled sport. Fast forward a decade or so and my ex-wife and her boyfriend have a huge falling out. They break up, he moves out, and now she's a single income mother again. I sympathize. Because I'm not in. My boy is broken up about it, too, because the dude was like a second father to him. I'm here to help. I send a little extra, just to make the transition easier. Way I see it, the less stressed she is, the easier it'll be on my boy. Several months later, I get the phone call that I've always dreaded. I need more money, and she's really about it. She's been thinking about this conversation in her head for weeks. How to approach me for more money. She's being mildly dishonest, on her way to lying and cheating her way into getting something she doesn't truly deserve. Not for me anyway. And especially not after what she said to me that initially prompted me to let her leave this state with our boy. Because I've never forgotten it. I'd beaten myself up over letting him leave. 10 years later, I realized that he would have been better off staying with me. My cowardice in that matter is something I'll never live down. Now, I know how all of this works. I've been to an attorney several times over the last 10 years, and I have a good idea what I owe. This last time through, it was estimated that I pay 30–40% more than I should. She says, we've never really recalculated support, so I'm going to my attorney to file a motion for more money, but she doesn't understand how it really works. You don't just get more money because you need it, at least not in the state where we got divorced. It's a formula. You put in your incomes, cost of daycare or after-school care, cost of health insurance, how much either parent gets from other support or maintenance, number of kids from other marriages, and the formula spits out a number. The only way that number changes is if kids die, you have more kids or incomes change by 10%. I know I don't owe her another dime. In fact, I owe her less than she thinks. I remind her that I've been paying more than my fair share for years. When our boy stopped playing football, I did stop paying for football. When our boy stopped getting tutoring, I never stopped paying for tutoring. Plus, I always increased my support with every raise nor lowered it, as I had additional kids of my own. Still, she doesn't believe me. I also tell her that if she drags us to court, I will default to the exact amount that the calculator spits out, not a penny more. Health expenses. Yeah, send me a receipt and I'll pay half. All of this cooperation we built up over the years, that's going away. Our boy isn't too far from going to college. I'm fine with becoming her adversary for a couple of years. I tell her this. And then she independently verifies the amount with her attorney. I don't get an apology or anything, but now suddenly we're back to being supportive parents again. And I sent a little extra in the next check, partly to say thank you, and partly to say what am I confessing me. The cowardice that got me here in the first place, the one that landed me in the spot of secondary parent to my firstborn. I'm also confessing that I feel a ridiculous amount of satisfaction over telling her no. It ain't the first time since our divorce, but it felt like a follow-up to that conversation 10 years ago, where she threatened to lie, cheat, and steal her way into getting what she wanted. She got what she wanted. Her life is fairly difficult now. The older I get, the less sorry for her I feel. Story 2. My 27F husband's 27M birthday is coming up, but we are separated and I'm contemplating divorce. Do I wish him a happy birthday myself? 27F and my husband, 27M, are currently separated and in different countries. By way of context, we have only been married for 4 months and were in a relationship for around 2.5 years prior. Of our 4 months of marriage, we have not been living together for 2 of them. Yes, it was a disaster of a marriage. Unfortunately, after getting married and me moving countries to live with him, I was completely blindsided to discover that he had lied to me about a lot in his life, many of which were major, such as a significant gambling problem, drinking problem, being unemployed, being out of school. He had previously told me that he was a law student, his past history with girls, etc. After I became suspicious about his issues, I tried to help him and reassure him that I will stand by his side, no matter what, as long as he is honest with me. However, he kept lying to me and I was left to discover things on my own. I then left our house, even though he cried and cried begging me not to leave. Even afterwards, I felt bad and helped him with law school applications and told him that I'm keeping channels of communication open for when he chooses to be honest with me. He nevertheless continued to lie to my face, even after we were separated and he was allegedly trying to make amends. I have now moved back to my country to be with my family. In the meantime, he has owned up to being responsible for his actions and apologized. He tried to reach out through sending me loving messages and pictures of us happy together. However, I told him to stop the emotional manipulation. The last conversation that we had was about a week ago, during which he maintained yet another lie and I lost my temper at him and did not say the nicest of things. Since then, he has attempted to text me sparsely. I know from his family members that he is struggling and still loves me. He is currently in therapy to work on his issues. So, a part of me feels bad for him. I feel like I got to know him well enough to have empathy for the struggles that led him down this path. But the larger part of me is furious with him for uprooting my life, betraying my trust in him so immensely, and putting me in the position of seriously considering the prospect of divorce at 27. He also did this in our culture that stigmatizes divorce and divorced women, needs women to be virgins, etc. So this augments my fury. It's an absurd situation, so a birthday message should be the least of my worries, but I'm thinking of how it would impact him emotionally, especially as his life is in shambles at the moment. My birthday was a couple of months ago, when we were still living together, and he showered me with nice gifts and a fancy celebration. He has always treated me well and showered me with nice gifts, but that obviously doesn't make up for his deceptions. He also recently wished my mother a happy birthday over message. In light of everything, however, I have decided not to get him a gift. I previously contemplated passive-aggressive gifts such as Pinocchio, but decided that any gift would just undermine the gravity of the situation and his actions. I am considering sending him a short message saying happy birthday and hoping that he is getting his life together. It is either that or no contact at all. Also, I am heavily leaning towards filing for divorce, but I haven't been able to bring myself to do it yet. It's been a lot to take in and process emotionally for me. Edited for typos and clarity. Thank you for this. You somehow managed to logically articulate the mess of thoughts and emotions running through me. I am saving this comment and considering it all. As for hiring a lawyer, I have an appointment with one set up in a couple of days, so we'll take his advice on how to interact with my husband in a way that will not harm my future rights. Thank you for your concern and advice. It's crazy to think that there are such deceptive and harmful people in this world.